Very good morning, friends. A very important change in GST with effect from 1st of October 2022, which will impact all registered taxpayers and primarily the finance and accounting and payable section of trade and industry, which should be noted and taken care of, and the processes in accounts and finance should be amended accordingly. As we all know that as per second proviso to section 16 subsection 2 read with rule 37, in case as a recipient you fail to pay the supplier of goods or services the taxable value as well as the tax thereon within 180 days from the date of the invoice of the supplier, then the input tax credit with respect to such supplies has to be reversed by you along with interest. Earlier the provision was that this amount of reversal of input tax credit would have to be shown as output tax liability, and interest under 50 subsection 1 would have had to be paid. However, from 1st October 2022, the CBIC has amended rule 37 and made two very important changes in this rule 37. Now they have removed the word proportionate from rule 37, and the payment of interest, whether at the rate of 18% or 24%, has been left wide open on the RTP. We will discuss the consequences and the actions which would be required to be taken by the taxpayers due to these important amendments. Let us discuss by means of an example. Say a supplier has supplied certain goods or services to you of the value of rupees 1 lakh plus 18,000 rupees of GST and provided you his tax invoice. However, you as the recipient disputes the value and pays to the supplier as full and final settlement only 95,000 rupees as the taxable value and say 17,000 rupees GST thereon. Total out of 1,18,000 rupees you decide to pay 1,12,000 rupees along with GST. Therefore, you deduct 6,000 rupees from the tax invoice of the supplier, which amounts to 5,000 rupees of the value of taxable supplies and 1,000 rupees of GST thereon. You do not take the input tax credit of this 1,000 rupees not paid to the supplier also. However, now with the removal of this word proportionate from rule 37, from what it seems that even if you do not pay the proportionate amount of tax along with taxable value thereon, then the entire value of taxable supplies and tax thereon would have to be reversed as a reversal of input tax credit. So even if you have not paid 1,000 rupees of GST with 5,000 rupees of taxable value, from this amendment what is understood is that you have to reverse even the 17,000 of input tax credit which you have taken and the taxable value and tax amount on which you have already paid to the supplier. Well, this can cause tremendous hardship to all the registered taxpayers. However, this rule is implemented from 1st of October 2022 and the return thereon have to be filed from November 2022, and therefore certain actions have to be taken by trade and industry until unless certain clarifications in this respect is issued by means of a circular or otherwise by the CBIC. In our legal submission, till this rule is further clarified, trade and industry should ensure that the credit note of the taxable value and tax which is not paid to the supplier is received from the supplier. In our example, while making the payment, you as a recipient should ensure that a credit note of 5,000 plus 1,000 rupees of GST is received before you make a deduction and payment thereon on the tax invoice of the instant supplier. If a credit note may not be feasible due to the business operations, then at least a confirmation for the full and final settlement of the tax invoice and the amount thereon should be received from the supplier, so as to substantiate that there is no failure of payment. It is a terms of the agreement and already agreed to by the supplier, and therefore the rule 37 and second proviso to 16 subsection 2 is not at all applicable in the case. Friends, another issue is whether you pay interest under 50 subsection 1. Construing this non-payment as an addition to your output tax liability at the rate of 18% interest, or whether you pay it at 24% interest, construing this as a reversal of input tax credit as per this rule 37 and also as per the circular 170, wherein the disclosure in this respect is required in 4B2 of GSTR 3B. Well, in our respectful submission, interest would be required to be paid at the rate of 18% as per second proviso to 16 subsection 2 in this instant case, even though you may be disclosing it under 4B2. Well, if the CBIC or the field officers want to dispute that it is a reversal of input tax credit and interest under 50 subsection 3 at the rate of 24% is required to be paid, then after the amendment of 50 subsection 3, it can be disputed by the taxpayer and it can be litigated in our legal submission that there is no wrongful availment itself of the input tax credit, and therefore there is no question of invocation of 50 subsection 3 in this case. Friends, therefore a lot of questions on this amendment are still to be answered. Trade and industry would require a clarification from the CBIC. If CBIC is listening to this video, some water will be flowing under the bridge after the amendment to this rule 37. However, since business has to continue, we have put forth our legal submissions and solutions to this issue in our view. Thank you very much for a patient hearing. Do keep watching, stay tuned. Please do like and subscribe to this channel, press the bell button and circulate this video for maximum dissemination of knowledge with respect to GST, income tax, customs, DGST related matters. Thank you very much. Thank you.